Hey everyone, it's Wushak here looking at the new Sardinex shop for the July 4th holiday, end of June. Even if you aren't from the US, you can take advantage of this shop and get cosmetics, materials, and boosts. The way you get through the shop is, well, playing the game. You're going to have event currency that changes every time. In this case, it's firecrackers that drop in all content, and you use those firecrackers to purchase things from the Sardinex shop. You're also going to get firecrackers and rewards just for talking to Sardinex daily, so make sure you do that. But let's spend some time today looking at the shop and seeing what we should get and what order you might want to get it. But before I open up Sardinex, let's talk about how the shops have been in the past and how I personally would go about pulling from him. They changed the shop at one point into these gacha boxes where previously you would target farm, get what you needed and be done, but now you're pulling and hoping to get what you want. Generally, there's going to be a few boxes to pull from. There's old cosmetics, which if you've already got will be blacked out and you don't have to worry about getting duplicates. New cosmetics, materials, and consumables. And all of these boxes actually have dupe protection on them, so you can eventually get what you need. Beyond that, there's occasionally familiar fusion recipes that you can directly buy. So starting with the cosmetics, if you enjoy these, just buy them outright. Just buy the whole box. Cosmetics are the true endgame, and with the number of cosmetics-based contests on the Bitverse social media outlets, it's always a good idea to have a good selection to choose from so you can enter as many as you can. Next, I usually go to the material box. I know stat points aren't super useful late game, but early game they are, and I like them even late game. Typically, I look to pull those stat points, then the fleece because that's what I need, and then move on. I have a ton of other materials, so I don't have to really spend a whole lot of time in this box. But look through your materials, see what you have, see what you need, and target farm. They do include one of each of the mythic crafting materials in the box, so that this is a good way to get that last collar, curio, fleece, whatever it is you need. Once you're done getting what you need out of there, move on to the consumable box. Don't spend all of your time trying to get everything from that box, because a lot of it's just going to be small amounts. The consumable box, though, honestly should be called the boost box because that's what's actually in them. So go into that. Keep in mind that most boosts in this box generally, historically, haven't been worth the currency to get them, but a couple are. Your goal in that box in the past has always been to pull the Bit Gore, and then if you have the currency, grab the Oda Gore. The Bite Gore is a decent consolation prize, but nothing else in the box is useful. It's just not. Once you've pulled from that fashion, you look at fusion recipes. I tend to get them because they're reskins of familiars and are one-off. Like once they're offered, they're never going to be offered again. However, if you need more materials, you could pass them by and then go back to the material box, grab what you need from there, and then if you have anything left over, everything's been bought, go back into the consumable box. If there's nothing left to spend it on, might as well spend it on something. Now that's the entire setup of the box and how to pull it based on last events, but today we're going to look at the new box and see if anything has changed in them and how we might reprioritize pulls since changes have happened in the past and flipped our grind upside down. Maybe this will be the same way. First up is coming to open Sardinex. The first time you talk to him every day, he's going to have some dialogue to talk about. The first day is usually just introductions, telling you a little bit of lore, but sometimes they have full stories, so it's worth reading. Now we get into here. Okay, I guess also remember that the rewards I talked about for talking to him, you only get that for actually talking to him and not hitting the little button at the bottom. But I opened this up and there's only the old cosmetic box, or the new cosmetic box, so that's... I mean, I would likely already have them anyway, so it doesn't really change anything. But, you know, whatever. That just means that we're going to be pulling what we want faster. And there's also no familiars. So we're only going to be looking at gacha boxes. All right, let's open up the cosmetics and see what we'll be buying out. Very first up is a Sun Gore cosmetic. That's actually really cool. I'm excited about that one. Then it looks like we have goggles and swim trunks. And are these all pets? Pet, and pet. Okay, so we have not a whole lot in here. We have one body cosmetic, one head cosmetic, and then 4 pets. I like the Sun Gore. I will 100% get that. But that's strange. I feel like previous shops have had 2 to 3 sets, but honestly, the Sun Gore cosmetic makes it worth it to me. Let's move on to the material box. Okay, looks pretty standard. Small amounts of each one. Yeah, no changes on here. If you're low, this material box is going to be a really great buy through and through, like just buying the whole thing. But late game, you're gonna definitely want to target. I enjoy stat points, even though 3 stat points is useless when you've got nearly 100,000. But the mythics are all there, so I'm gonna stand by my previous comment. You know, go ahead and pull specifically what you need and move on. It's totally fine to leave guts behind as an example if you already have a mythic mount. So let's move to the final one. Oh, they changed it. It's called the boost box now, no longer consumable. Look at that. They did change it. Okay, looks normal. You see, like these here are just straight up not worth it. 50 firecrackers to get a major item find scroll, just not worth it. So, okay, so it looks like the big gore is no longer there. It's got replaced with a bite gore. Okay, so this box is going to be different. From this one, the only boost that's worth looking at, in my opinion, is going to be the Oda Gore. It's going to be just like a Bite Gore, but it only lasts for 4 hours instead of 24 hours. They replaced the Big Gore with this one that's less than half as effective. Yeah, so this will actually change my thoughts on the material box. I'd say go ahead and pull it fully. There's far too many boosts here that is not worth the currency to pull. So there's what, 5, 10, 15, 20. There's 23 items in here and you realistically only want one. That's just not worth it. Yeah, oof, that's rough. So this box is just not worth it. You're gonna realistically on average be pulling 12 to 13 at 50 a pop. You know, it's spending 600 event materials to get an Oda Gore when it used to be 500 for a Bit Gore. That's not great. That's not a good look. I wouldn't touch this box. So you've only realistically got the material box and the cosmetic box now, so that's really great. So let's talk briefly about that Bit Gore though, because that's rough having that gone already. The Bit Gore was the chase item. Like, of everything in there, the mythic materials were great, the TS were great, all the other stuff is great, but the Bit Gore is the one thing that you couldn't get without buying, really. So it is a 500% to everything boost that lasts for 24 hours. Personally, I don't have a ton of time or resources to play, so my Bit Gore stash is really higher than it should be, so this isn't a huge loss for me. But always having at least 1 or 2 ready to go when you want to farm something is a great idea, and Sardinex is how you always got them, aside from having login rewards, unless you're going to spend money. And I don't really spend a whole lot of money here. I really think this is a really bad change. I'm not sure what happened, especially to be replaced with a Bite Gore. Had it been replaced with an Oda Gore, or maybe a higher quality boost like a 750% that only lasts for 4 hours, or even the Wheat Gore boost like the Beach Ball, that there was one in the Easter event as well. But just to flat out remove the Bit Gore and then replace it with something significantly less good, it just feels bad, man. So I mean, advocating for the free-to-play community, I do have to say removing the Bit Gore here just plain sucks, you know? I'm not sure what Congregate was thinking. Maybe we'll get clarification on the Discord server. I'm not sure. Right now, there's not. I feel like this is a change that nobody asked for. Putting all the pulls behind the gacha boxes was already, like, not the greatest, but it did allow you to potentially get things really cheap. But then to remove the reason to even pull from the gacha box, like, there's no reason to pull from this box. This is the only boost that's worth it, and realistically, like, it's just because it's the 500% in 4 hours, so you could do that on like a weekend morning. But like, this boost is not great. Like, it's worse than a Bub Gore. Like, I'm just not a fan of this. I wonder what data led them to this, because like, I mean, I'm sure that if they intended this, it was done purposefully. Ooh, maybe it was a mistake. I'm going to hold out that it was a mistake. I'm just going to hope that it was a mistake, and the extra byte gore is a result of a changed number in the code somewhere. Maybe byte gore is item number 678 and bit gore is 677. I don't know. By the way, this event seems to have fallen flat for me. I usually get really excited for these and push really hard and empty out the shop on all of my characters, but I don't think I'm going to be pushing near as hard as I would have previously. Since I can effectively completely ignore the boost box. There's material box 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's what, 33 in here. Yeah, I can just pull this whole material box and not worry about the boost box. That's not a problem for me. Yeah. Oof. But that's Sardinex this time. I was actually really pumped to talk about him and the event, but not so much anymore. Look through the changes that were made. I looked through this video here. The one I did for the tier 20 release is what the events typically are, so you can check that video out. But a quick recap of the box changes. There's less cosmetics in the boxes, which is neither good nor bad. It just means that you get through the box faster. Materials are the same. No familiars were added, so less grind on that end. And again, that's fine since most of the familiars weren't even worth making, except for that Easter Blubber one. But then there's no bit gore in the boost box. It's been replaced by a byte gore. Bad change, but good if you're in dire need of materials, because now you can just ignore that box entirely. Quick rundown of how I'll be pulling if you want to copy from me. I'm going to get all the cosmetics, all the materials, and then anything left over will go into consumables if I have any. Yeah, simple and easy to follow if you'd like. In the comments, tell me what you think about the change to this box. Like, do you like it? Do you dislike it? Why? Let's have a conversation about it, and maybe we can bring it to Congregate's attention. Personally, I don't like it. If you want to discuss this change, leave that comment here, or you can even check out the Discord linked on my profile. It's the official Bitverse Discord filled to the brim with players hyped about the whole Bit Heroes universe, and the developers are in there as well. There's weekly movie nights, weekly chances to play games with myself, other members of the community, and also the community managers, as well as more knowledge about the game than you can shake a stick at. If you get lucky enough with giveaways, you can play like a pay-to-win player without spending a dime. I hope to see you there, and thanks for hanging out today. If you want to support me in getting better equipment or making more videos, check out the link in my channel, and don't forget to like this video if you like it, dislike it if you dislike it, subscribe if you want more, and I will see you in the next video.